sovereign energy, sacred boundaries, and relational prosperity. Quantum. Opening your mind is the living laboratory where reality learns to take form, and your heart is the sacred fire that instructs it through coherence, gentleness, and impeccability. Your energy speaks before your voice, your boundaries breathe before your words, and your presence writes agreements in the room long before any paper receives ink. Today your field remembers its throne. Today your yes becomes a creative wand, and your no becomes a golden gate. Section 1. Deep gaze, the kingdom of your field. Sovereign energy rises when the inner kingdom stops leaking its light. Every soul carries a citadel of awareness, a luminous city with 4 guardians, the sovereign who blesses every resource and decrees order, the guardian who tends the gates with compassion and clarity, the alchemist who turns friction into fuel and pain into wisdom, the lover who irrigates the city with tenderness and intimate presence. When boundaries blur, the city loses food and music. The market overflows with commitments that never aligned. The nights fill with noise. Fatigue arrives as a tax collector. The river of money circles the walls and chooses other ports because the docks are chaotic. When boundaries strengthen, the light organizes itself. The city breathes. The bread reaches every table. Silence returns to the temple. The river of money moors in trust because a clear lighthouse guides it to safe harbor. Your field is a membrane of living intelligence. It recognizes nourishment and invites it in. It recognizes distortion and redirects it with elegance. It remembers a simple sentence that changes entire seasons. Energy goes where attention rests, and attention rests where devotion lives. Devotion to your own truth opens relational prosperity. Devotion to your values turns encounters into symphonies. Devotion to your rhythm restores dignity to time. Archetypes walk with you. The sovereign stands tall in your spine. The guardian warms your skin with a sense of rightful space. The alchemist glows behind the navel as creative digestion. The lover widens your chest into an orchard where every limit is made of blossoms and gold thread. Boundaries then stop feeling like walls and begin to feel like music notation. Melodies without notation dissolve into noise. Notation invites harmony. Section 2. Scientific and psychological foundations. Transpersonal psychology honors your consciousness as more than a stream of thoughts. It recognizes states of expansion that reorganize identity and purpose. In those states, boundaries are not hostility, they are coherence. They are the geometry that allows love to circulate. Humanistic psychology brings the language of dignity. Autonomy, competence, and belonging organize healthy motivation. Boundaries protect autonomy without breaking belonging. Boundaries nurture competence without creating performance prisons. Boundaries invite belonging without fusing identities. Neuroplasticity offers a simple prophecy. Repeated focus remaps the brain. Each time you place a loving limit, your nervous system updates the map titled Safety and Honesty. The vagal system hears that limit as predictability. Heart rhythms synchronize with breath. Biochemical cascades choose nourishment over defense. The prefrontal cortex retrieves executive functions that busyness stole. The amygdala learns new thresholds that fit the present rather than the past. Attachment patterns shift when you embody coherent boundaries. The anxious pattern softens because clarity lets trust sit down at the table. The avoidant pattern melts because distance is no longer the only way to breathe. The disorganized pattern receives a lighthouse that cuts through fog. In relational ecosystems, boundaries are ecological agreements. Every organism thrives when niche, timing, and mutual consent become explicit. Mind power is not domination. It is attunement. A focused image, a felt emotion, and a congruent action form a triad that instructs the body. Visualization invites the brain to rehearse success without the stress of real-time stakes. A firm yet compassionate spoken boundary calibrates the laryngeal muscles, the breath, and the heart rhythm into one chord. Affirmations function as micro-sculptures for identity when they match behavior and sensation. Section 3. Biodecoding applied. The body as boundary oracle. The body keeps a cartography of unspoken limits and unmet needs. Reading it becomes medicine. Throat and jaw reflect voice permissions. Tightness signals swallowed truths or chronic people-pleasing. Gentle vibrational humming and truthful microstatements discharge pressure. Skin reflects space and separation. Rashes often appear when life feels invasive or when the self feels overexposed. Moisturizing touch paired with clear scheduling restores the perimeter. Lower back reflects support. Pain often mirrors burdens accepted beyond capacity. Redistributing tasks, naming limits in time and money, and strengthening core muscles rewrites the myth of carrying everything. Liver and gallbladder speak of anger and decision. Stagnation shows as resentment stored. Anger becomes clean fuel when it receives movement, breath, and a decisive boundary. Kidneys echo fear and alliances. Exhaustion often hides from years of hyper-vigilant giving. Rest protocols and consent rituals refill the aquifers. Gut digests agreements. Bloating or knots reflect undigested commitments. Saying no to misaligned demands often reduces the symptom faster than any tea. Path of release. 1. Name the felt location in the body and breathe into that territory. 2. Place a hand there to lend warm attention and acknowledge the message. 3. Speak a boundary aloud that answers the message with precision. 4. Adjust a concrete behavior in calendar, budget, or environment. 5. Anchor the new pattern with movement and hydration to let cells celebrate the update. When symptoms become chronic or complex, integrated professional support belongs in the circle. Sovereignty includes the wisdom of asking for qualified help. Section 4. Quantum NLP Toolkit, Step-by-Step Repatterning. These practices combine classic NLP mechanisms with subtle energy hygiene. Use them as daily rituals to rewire beliefs, expand capacity, and create prosperous relationships anchored in clarity. 4.1 Identity Declaration Stack. Stand or sit tall. Place one hand on the heart and one on the belly. Speak 3 layered declarations slowly and clearly. Role. I am the sovereign of my energy field. Value. I honor reciprocity, truth, and gentle potency. Behavior. I choose aligned agreements and timely no's. Visualize a soft golden membrane extending 1 arm's length around you. Feel breath moving the membrane as a living boundary. 4.2 Submodality. Recode for boundaries. Recall a scene where your boundary collapsed. Shrink the mental image, push it further, lower its brightness, and mute its sound. Recall a scene where you upheld a healthy boundary. Enlarge that image, bring it closer, heighten its clarity, and amplify the sense of grounded relief. Swap the positions fast 3 to 5 times and let the triumphant image lock into place. Seal with the phrase, "My nervous system prefers clarity." 4.3 Anchor Installation. Golden Gate Gesture. Choose a discrete gesture such as thumb to middle finger touch. Somatically evoke the feeling of clean boundary, stable breath, feet heavy, heart open. Press the gesture for 5 seconds as the feeling peaks. Repeat across 5 different memories of successful boundaries. Later, use the gesture before calls, meetings, or negotiations to prime coherence. 4.4 Parts. Integration. The giver and the guardian. Imagine 2 parts standing before you, the generous giver and the clear guardian. Let both step closer until they overlap in your chest. Breathe a new role, generous guardian, who gives in truth and protects in love. Walk 1 step forward to embody the merged part and state, "My giving flows inside my limits." 4.5 Future Pace. Calendar of Integrity. Visualize the next 7 days. See each commitment stamped with one of 3 seals. Full yes, negotiated yes, no. Watch yourself send messages or edits from calm strength. Imagine the relational space smiling and reorganizing around clarity. End with a bow to all participants, including your own nervous system. 4.6 Money Field Reframe. Hold a coin or touch your wallet. Speak. Money respects coherence and loves clarity. Picture your offerings, prices, and delivery promises as transparent crystal. Picture clients arriving through doors labeled right fit. Let the felt sense of fairness wash the solar plexus. Log 1 concrete price or boundary update right after. Section 5. Spiritual Perspective and Christic Consciousness. Christic consciousness holds unity without erasing difference. Boundaries become radiant when anchored in unconditional goodwill. Love thrives in truth. Compassion breathes easier in clarity. Forgiveness matures when integrity holds. The wisdom of emptiness says that things lack fixed essence and arise in interdependence. Boundaries, then, are not rigid idols. They are skillful shapes that compassion adopts to protect life. The most loving garden uses fences not as punishments, but as invitations to thrive. Roses bloom because the path stays clear of trampling feet. Water reaches roots because channels exist. From a multidimensional lens, your field is a temple. In that temple, every agreement is a sacrament. Consent becomes incense. Reciprocity becomes bread and wine. Silence becomes bell. The Christ within sees the other as a you in another costume. The boundary then says not go away, but let us meet where our integrity can kiss. Blessings flow to money when sacredness returns to exchange. Pricing becomes prayerful mathematics. Delivery becomes devotion. Testimonials become hymns. Work becomes altar. When the altar shines, the village prospers through right relationship. Section 6. Integrative Ritual. The Boundary Rose Protocol. A daily sequence to braid mind, body, and spirit into one sovereign presence. Total time about 20 minutes. 6.1. Preparation: place a glass of water and a small bowl of salt nearby. Light a candle to signal presence. Stand with feet hip-width apart. 6.2. Breath and posture. 4 cycles of box breathing. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. Soften knees, lengthen spine, relax jaw. Visualize a rose blooming at heart center. 6.3. The 3 gates: gate of time. Place one hand over the belly and name the day's hours available for others and the hours reserved for self, study, creation, and rest. Gate of resources. Place hand over the solar plexus and name the budget for generosity and the minimum fair exchange for services. Gate of presence. Place hand over the throat and declare the channels you will answer and the speed that preserves quality. 6.4. The boundary rose. Extend arms slowly and imagine petals forming a circular perimeter around you. The petals are woven from kindness, clarity, and consent. Whisper 3 lines. My field is a clear sanctuary. My limits are anchored in love. My exchanges are fair and flourishing. 6.5. Cleansing and sealing. Dissolve a pinch of salt in the water. Trace a small circle on your forehead and heart. Visualize threads of past leaks returning home. Picture doors of misaligned demands closing gently and permanently. Picture doors of aligned collaboration opening with music. 6.6. Action of prosperity. Choose one concrete act. Update a price page. Write a boundary message. Decline an invitation that dilutes your mission. Or schedule a nourishing rest period. Log it on paper as a completed vow. 6.7. Gratitude and release offer. Gratitude to body, guides, and community. Blow out the candle as a sign that clarity now continues into action. Applied scenarios. Boundaries in relationships, work, and money intimacy. Communicate rhythm. Preferred times for connection, silence, and shared tasks. State non-negotiables with tenderness, honesty, respect, and care. Reserve solo practices so your river keeps singing. Practice repair with truth and warmth when frictions arise. Family define. Support that honors both your capacity and their dignity. Replace rescuing with resourcing. Suggestions, referrals, and shared planning strengthen everyone's wings. Celebrate differences as creative edges rather than territory wars. Friendship offer generosity without debt. Signal when presence is full and when rest is needed. Keep promises small and gold. Tiny consistent gold outweighs giant unpaid silver. Work and clients. Publish clear scopes, delivery timelines, and revision policies. Ask for payment structures that reflect real effort and creative cycles. Invite only clients who match your medicine. Close each delivery with a ritual of completion so the field resets. Money flow. Align offerings with true strengths. Set prices that stabilize the nervous system and allow excellence. Track income and outflow as a love story rather than a courtroom. Bless taxes as contribution to the commons while negotiating them intelligently. Repairing leaks. 12 micro practices. 1. 1 slow glass of water before any important answer. 2. The golden gate gesture before opening messages. 3. A micro nap or 3 quiet minutes when urgency tries to colonize your body. 4. A single sentence boundary message saved as template. 5. A weekly review of commitments with the 3 seals. 6. A daily reminder that silence is a sentence filled with wisdom. 7. 10 conscious breaths after any yes and before any no. 8. A monthly price check aligned to value delivered and energy invested. 9. A sacred pause when envy appears, converting it into inspiration. 10. A calendar buffer between meetings so integration can land. 11. A simple mantra while walking, clear, kind, and rooted. 12. A ceremonial completion after projects so the soul knows the cycle is closed. Compassionate, no, and radiant. Yes, language library. I appreciate the invitation and I choose not to participate. That request falls outside my capacity, and this is the alternative I can offer. This price honors the depth of the work and ensures sustained quality. My availability opens on this date, and here is the path that fits. I value this relationship, and I protect it through clear agreements. I prefer voice notes only on weekdays within these hours. I receive the gratitude, and I release any debt. I welcome aligned collaboration, and I decline urgency. These sentences do not attack. They reveal. They do not fence the other out. They keep your temple clean so meeting becomes sacrament. Transmutation of guilt and shame. Guilt often appears when old programming equated worth with constant availability. Shame often arises when rest received the stamp of laziness. Transmutation begins with new definitions. Worth measures truthfulness, not exhaustion. Dignity measures congruence, not servitude. Rest is architecture, not indulgence. The nervous system follows language. Name yourself accurately and the hormones recalibrate. Place a hand on the chest and speak. I free my lineage from the myth of depletion as love. I author a new myth where love includes timing, truth, and reciprocity. I circulate prosperity by honoring my sacred perimeter. Ecosystem of prosperity, how boundaries multiply abundance. Clear boundaries act like irrigation channels. Opportunities find you because you are legible. People pay happily because you are dependable. Creativity returns because your inner child trusts schedules that protect play. Partnerships bloom because your no keeps the soil fertile for the right yes. Health stabilizes because the immune system stops fighting calendar infections. The village prospers because your offerings arrive on time and alive. Relational prosperity is therefore not accidental. It is designed in the temple of daily choices. Each limit declared with grace adds a brick to a bridge that others can cross with relief. Each yes aligned adds music to the marketplace. Money listens. It leans where agreements sing in tune. High vibration closing master. Phrase. Your boundaries are the choreography of your love and the geometry of your abundance. 24-hour quantum challenge. Choose one relationship, write one clear agreement, and perform one aligned action that honors it. Update a price, schedule a rest block, or send a compassionate number. Place your hand on your chest after completing it and breathe 5 slow inhales to seal the new timeline. Activation code speak and tap the heart rhythmically. RAELOMAHAVA. 3 rounds in a calm voice. Visualize a golden rose unfolding around your field. Feel the spine crown itself with light. Let the day proceed under the banner of gentle sovereignty. Con amor, infinito, Andreu el activador cuántico.